Behind every royal headline, there's a hidden truth. The world is watching the crown once again. This is Golden Crown Insider, where royal secrets become headlines. Today's story broke just days ago. And when you hear the full picture, when you understand everything that is happening inside the royal family right now, behind the cameras, behind the carefully managed statements, behind the silence that Buckingham Palace has become so expert at maintaining, you will understand why this is perhaps the most urgent, most emotional, most deeply human royal story of 2026. A grandfather is running out of time. 2 grandchildren are growing up without him, and the father standing in the middle, a man torn between his pride, his pain, and his desperate love for his children, has finally made a move that nobody expected. Prince Harry is pushing hard, harder than he ever has before. And the one word driving everything he is doing right now is a word that should make all of us stop and pay attention. Time. Subscribe right now if you are new here. Hit that bell, because this story is moving fast and Golden Crown Insider is taking you inside every layer of it. Let's set the scene. May 2026. King Charles continues undergoing cancer treatment. Buckingham Palace has provided only limited updates about the monarch's condition. But behind closed doors, sources say the diagnosis has prompted Harry to completely reconsider the distance that has existed between him and the royal family since their departure from royal life in 2020, Yahoo, and in California, in a house in Montecito, where 2 small children are growing up far from palaces and protocols in the family name they were born into. Prince Harry is reportedly becoming more emotional about this situation by the day, according to sources close to the Duke of Sussex. Harry has grown increasingly saddened watching his niece and nephews, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, enjoy close relationships with extended family members in Britain. While Archie and Lilibet remain largely separated from their royal relatives, sources say Harry genuinely believes time is precious, and he wants Archie and Lilibet to have a closer connection with Charles while there is still an opportunity for reconciliation. Yahoo! While there is still an opportunity, those words land heavily because they are not just about a family reunion. They're about a grandfather fighting cancer. A grandfather who, as sources close to the palace have previously confirmed, has said himself that he knows he will not be around forever. And now, 2 days ago, the story took a turn that royal watchers have been waiting years to see. Reports surfaced confirming that Prince Harry has made a heartfelt plea to King Charles to secure his children's royal future. Harry is said to be pushing hard for a family stay at Balmoral this summer, the annual royal retreat in Scotland, where the family gathers every year with hopes of arranging a private meeting between Charles and his grandchildren. Sources say Harry genuinely believes Balmoral could be the place where things finally start healing. Hello, Balmoral. That word carries enormous weight in royal history. It was at Balmoral that Queen Elizabeth spent her final days. It is at Balmoral that the royal family is most private, most relaxed, most human. Away from London, away from the cameras, away from the weight of ceremony and protocol. If there is any place in the world where a grandfather and 2 grandchildren could simply sit together and be a family, it is Balmoral. And Harry knows that, which is exactly why he is pushing for it. The family is understood to be planning to fly over shortly after Archie and Lilibet finish school in June. Harry is expected to visit the UK in July for a pre-Invictus Games event, but it now looks likely he could make the trip as early as June. His cousin Peter Phillips is due to marry Harriet Sperling in a private ceremony on June 6th, and Harry has always been close to Peter. The wedding could mark the first time Harry has been in the same room as his brother, William, since 2024. Think about that timeline. June, Peter's wedding, Harry and William potentially in the same room for the first time in over a year. Then Balmoral, Archie, and Lilibet potentially meeting their grandfather while there is still time. Then July, the Invictus Games event, a cause that has always been close to Harry's heart. This summer could be the most significant moment in the Sussex story, since they left the UK in 2020, and at the center of all of it, to children, 7 and 4 years old, who have spent their entire lives hearing about a grandfather they barely know. But now, let's talk about the other side of this story, because Golden Crown Insider always gives you both sides, and the other side is complicated. While King Charles is reportedly looking forward to welcoming the Sussexes this summer, with sources telling royal expert Richard Eden that the king hopes to see more of his son and spend time with his grandchildren, and that this will happen in Britain before long. The situation is far from straightforward. Reader's Digest, because there is one person whose presence in the UK is described by insiders as having the potential to set off fireworks behind palace walls. Meghan. Sources revealed that Harry is extremely nervous about how Meghan will be received when she is on UK soil. He has reportedly requested crisis talks with Charles ahead of their homecoming. He wants clear-the-air conversations to happen before Meghan sets foot in Britain to ensure that whatever reception awaits her does not derail the more important mission of getting Archie and Lilibet time with their grandfather. Reader's Digest. Crisis talks. Before a family visit, that phrase alone tells you everything about how fragile this situation truly is. Harry is not arranging a casual summer holiday. He is conducting what amounts to a diplomatic operation, trying to manage the emotions, the tensions, the history, and the competing needs of multiple people who have hurt each other deeply and have never fully resolved it. Adding another layer of complexity, sources say that while Harry is desperately pushing for this Balmoral reunion, Meghan is still reluctant to make peace with the royals. The Duke is said to be caught between his desire to reconcile for the sake of his children and his loyalty to his wife, who does not share the same urgency about healing the relationship. Hello. And there's one more detail in this story that cuts particularly deep. One quote that appeared in royal reporting just days ago, a single line that, once you read it, you cannot unhear. A source close to the situation told reporters, when Archie tells his friends one day that his grandpa was king, he will hardly have known him. Reader's Digest. Read that again. When Archie tells his friends one day that his grandpa was king, he will hardly have known him. A 7-year-old boy, whose grandfather is the King of England, who barely knows him, who is growing up in California while the man who carries his bloodline, who gave him his father, who is fighting cancer on the other side of the world, is becoming little more than a name, a title, a figure in photographs. And Charles himself, what does he feel about all of this? Royal expert Duncan Larcombe has been direct about the king's emotional state. He said King Charles is full of regret over the whole situation. He definitely would not have wanted it to go this way. And sources close to the palace say that the king feels genuine remorse over the ongoing distance from Harry's children, and that he likely wishes he could reconcile so he can be a true part of Archie and Lilibet's lives. ABC News. Remorse. From a king? From a man who has spent his entire life learning to show very little of what he truly feels. That word remorse, coming from sources close to Charles, is not a small thing. It is a window into a private grief that this very public man has been carrying for years. Royal editor Kate Manzi has noted something that makes this grief even more visible. She observed that whenever King Charles talks about his grandchildren, whenever he mentions the future, the next generation, the family he is leaving behind, the public automatically assumes he is talking about George, Charlotte, and Louis, not Archie and Lilibet. The Sussex children have been quietly, almost invisibly, written out of the public royal narrative. Hella written out, not officially, not with a statement or an announcement, just gradually, naturally, through absence, erased from the story that the royal family tells about itself and its future. And Charles allowed that to happen. Whether through circumstance or choice, he allowed 2 of his grandchildren to become footnotes, while 3 others became the entire story. Now, to be fair, and this situation demands fairness because the pain runs in every direction, Charles has not had easy choices here. Every attempt to reach out to Harry has been complicated by the ongoing legal battles, the documentaries, the book, the public accusations. Every private gesture has risked becoming a public flashpoint, and a king managing cancer, a monarchy in transition, a brother facing criminal proceedings, and a global political landscape that demands his constant attention has limited emotional bandwidth. But bandwidth is not the same as will. And the question that sources inside the royal world are now asking privately, carefully, is whether Charles, before his time runs out, will find the will to do what the bandwidth has not allowed. A royal commentator who spoke to the People's Channel said he fully expects Meghan to bring Archie and Lilibet to the UK this year. And he said directly, will they see the king? Yes, I would suspect they will. How often and for how long? This will get international news. And remember, all of this has been planned. It has been planned for a long time. IMDb planned for a long time, which means this summer, if everything aligns, if the crisis talks happen, if Meghan agrees, if William and Harry can be in the same room without the wound reopening, this summer could be the moment that changes everything. Or it could be another near miss. Another carefully arranged visit that falls apart under the weight of history. Another summer where Archie and Lilibet wave goodbye to a grandfather they still barely know and fly back to California, carrying memories that should have been made years ago. Harry himself has spoken about why this matters so much to him personally. In his memoir, Spare, he described his relationship with Charles as emotionally distant. He admitted he wants to parent differently with his own children. He recently said he underwent therapy to deal with the past before becoming a father because he wanted to become the best version of himself for Archie and Lilibet. Yahoo, the best version of himself. And part of being the best version of himself, part of giving Archie and Lilibet the childhood he never fully had, means giving them a grandfather. A real one, not a photograph, not a title, not a name they drop in conversations with school friends. A person, present, warm, known. That is what Harry is fighting for this summer. Not a reconciliation for the headlines. Not a photo opportunity for the palace. A grandfather for his children. While there is still time, the clock is ticking. The cancer continues. The children are growing up fast. And somewhere between California and Balmoral, between the pride and the pain and the love that has never actually gone away, there is still a chance for something real to happen. Whether anyone in this family is brave enough to take it is the question that 2026 may finally answer. If this story moved you, give it a thumbs up right now. Share it with someone who follows the royals. And if you have not yet subscribed to Golden Crown Insider, do it now. Every single day we bring you the stories that live behind the headlines, the ones that reveal what this family is truly going through beneath the crown. This is Golden Crown Insider, and we will see you in the next one.